Hey friends, this is Emily Paige Wilson. If you are new to my channel, I write poetry and novels in verse for young adult readers, and today we are going to be reading through and taking edit notes on Act 2A. If y'all haven't seen my last vlog, I finished Act 2A, otherwise known as the Fun and Games. It was definitely not fun and games. The writing process, it felt like it dragged on and I had to recalibrate my beat sheet a little bit. I like to go back in at every quarter mark, every 25% mark throughout the novel, and just do a recap, read through the last 25% of the novel. With Fun and Games, I think it's technically 30%. I could be totally misremembering that, but I won't act on the editorial notes that I make today. I'll just take note of them so that when I finish the first draft of the manuscript, put it away for a little bit, and then return to it, I'll have fresh notes available for me. So I am in my car right now because I am going to go treat myself and my boyfriend. I'm gonna pick him up one. I'm going to try the new Starbucks.
What is it?
The brown sugar oatmeal latte. Sounds very tasty. I'm really excited that they're rolling out a lot more new plant-based options. I do not like the fact that we can't bring our own cups, reusable cups yet because of the pandemic. And I also typically try to shop local and support my local coffee shops. We just found a new one the other week when I do treat myself to a cup of coffee. But I'm telling y'all, this brown sugar oat milk latte sounds delicious. So today, Saturday, I don't know if I said that, it's Saturday, March the 6th, I think, and I'm gonna treat myself to a cup of coffee because I've mapped out the day from 9 to 5, treating it like a writing work day. The fun and game section, I'm gonna be editing some vlogs, maybe making some poetry submissions, so we're gonna go get a latte. Logan friends, we've acquired the drink. It's very blonde. I think I did the opposite of a hack. You know how you can like menu hack the Starbucks drinks? I think I like actually accidentally downgraded mine. I snuck a sip in the car. I might have ruined it. It's not as flavorful as you would have expected, but that's probably my fault because I got the drinks without espresso. I got the drink without espresso because I gave up caffeine a few months ago. And then I also reduced the number of shots. I think it was supposed to come with like 4 of the syrup shots and I asked for only 2 because that's a lot of sugar. So I think I'm going to brew a cup of decaf and then mix it with this and then hack it myself and start reading through my fun and games. Let me know how you guys feel down below when you reread your work. I always get so anxious about it. The wind, I live in a very windy city. It's like known for its wind, so, you know, that's what happens. That's what happened to the hair situation. But, gonna get some decaf, gonna doctor this baby up, and then we're gonna get reading. All right, friends, we have doctored up the coffee. It looks more like coffee colored than before. So I'm about to get into the reading and the editing. Clearly I'm procrastinating right now by filming. If in the B-roll footage you're about to see I am wildly gesticulating or talking out loud, it is because I like to read my work out loud when possible. I think that's just a great editing hack regardless of what your genre is. And also, neither my boyfriend nor our housemate, we live in a duplex, so I guess she's our neighbor, not our housemate, but no one's home. So I'm just gonna read out loud and no one's here to judge me, except maybe you guys, but hopefully not. What do we think about this line? I'm as merry as a Bigfoot munching on huckleberries. It's got good sounds, right? Is it like a little too, I don't know, but it's got good sounds. So I've just caught where I have stolen a line from myself. I definitely use this line in a poem in my forthcoming collection, Yalubi. Is that okay? Let me know below. Do you guys steal lines from yourself? I'm assuming that people, like, it's not the same target audience, right? Those who are going to read my collection and those who are going to read my young adult novel and verse, although that may not be true. I don't know. I think Elizabeth Acevedo has a lot of crossover with her audience from what I've seen on social media, and she's incredibly talented in both genres. So maybe there's overlap and maybe somebody will catch me, but I'm telling on myself beforehand. The line is, "The mossy morning breath of patchouli edges from a stick of incense." And I just love the sounds again, and I think it sets this atmospheric tone. Hopefully you can get a sense of, you know, the smoke from the incense and that like textured, sensual
meaning of the senses.
Detail about what the incense smells like, because we're definitely entering into like the new world in the book. And so it's important for me to set that up by stealing from myself. In the past 3 pages, I've caught the word seems twice, and I hate that. I hate filter verbs. Instead of the protagonist telling us something seems to be this way, we don't need to have them. We don't need their perspective filtered through us, through them telling us that it's their perspective. I don't know if that just made sense. Probably didn't. But y'all know what I mean. I hate filter verbs, and I'm mad that there are 2 in 3 pages. If y'all have been watching my writing vlogs, you'll know I had a scene in which there's a dream sequence, and I just came upon it. I'm not quite halfway through reading the fun and games yet, but I can't tell. I didn't make a note to remove it. I don't know if there should be a corresponding scene later that's kind of like a nightmare scene, but it does actually serve a purpose. It is a look into my protagonist's psychological development and into how she's trying to defeat her inner demons through an external source that's just not going to help, right? That happens a lot in the first half of a book. That's why it's so disappointing and depressing to see a protagonist then go through the downward slope in Act 2B, because they're realizing, they're coming to grips with the fact that they've been looking for external sources to heal or just navigate internal conflicts. So the dream sequence does serve as that psychological instinct, but also there are other ways to convey that without a dream, what the character does and what the character says. So I'm not going to cut it, but I know that I shared that sequence with you guys in a writing vlog, so I thought I would just share. It's still there. And I'm not cutting, I'm not doing anything besides taking notes and just reading to make sure that the pace and that the characterization and that the language is where I want it to be, kind of just getting a pulse on that. But dream sequence, still there. Here's an example of where I use a filter verb, but then I justify its presence by having a line of description. So the protagonist is cleaning up their room, and that's also a sign that their mental health is getting better, although via the wrong approach, which sounds weird. That sounds weird out of context, right? Like, it's like, what do you mean? If your mental health is getting better, your mental health is getting better. What I mean to say is she thinks her mental health is getting better, and it's not. She's using avoidant behaviors that look like their progress, if that makes any sense. It will in the context of the story, but one of the things that she's doing, which actually does help improve your mental health, is cleaning her room. And she says, this helps a little, but my room still smells funky, which that language isn't particularly poetic, but it does have that filter verb smells. Then it's followed by that spiced sage scent of old sweat on skin. So a heavy alliteration with the S sounds, and then sage, which is a very pungent herb, and then old sweat, which I'm sure we all know what that sounds like. So that's just an example in the writing of where I am using a filter verb, but I feel like there's enough descriptive language couched around it that it justifies its presence. Hey friends, it is a little bit before noon. I'm so glad it's time for a lunch break. I finished reading through the Fun and Games, although I realize I think I've just met the B story. Anyway, y'all know what I mean. Act 2A. And really everything seems, from a structural standpoint, pretty solid. I did get tired of my own writing towards the end, towards the last half hour. The attention, I was still able to focus, but I was kind of moving through it with a more monotonous feeling. I was like, okay, like I'm tired of reading my own writing. Things that I have noticed though are I definitely do need a timeline, like I've shared with y'all in the writing blogs. I need a timeline for leading up to the big event that happens at the midpoint, the false victory. I also have worked out in this section of the book that the protagonist has a very strained relationship with both of her parents. And I knew why she had a strained relationship with her dad. He tried to fix something in the wrong way, but I hadn't realized why she was frustrated still and harboring some resentment with her mom. And I've realized in writing Act 2A that it's because the mom just didn't try to fix it. Knew that there was this problem and was really passive. So I'm gonna have to heighten that tension and make that relationship dynamic more clearer in the second draft. The only other thing I'm slightly worried about, and part of me is like, oh, I'll just wait for Joan to figure it out and tell me, but obviously that's not how agents work. Like, you have to figure out the writing yourself. But the only thing I'm slightly nervous about is where my Act 2A begins. And I can't tell if it's
like technically breaking into like the new story. It's like we're technically breaking into the new world of the story, but not quite. Like, it's difficult to explain.
It's like the characters first jump into this new part of the story, but she's not quite fully committed to it yet. I don't know if that makes sense. I'm being really vague here because I don't want to give away too much, but that could be the only thing from a really skeletal eagle-eyes view that I might have to rework thoroughly. Like, it would take a lot of restructuring. Not a lot, but it would take a little bit of restructuring. So tomorrow my plan is, and I'll try to record it too, tomorrow my plan is to, instead of actually spending writing time, go back and look at Act 2B in my Save the Cat Writes a Novel beat sheet that I created for this book, and to plot out not only the new word count, but to make sure that all of the beats still feel relevant. I'm sure there's a lot that I'm going to be able to fill in and refine with more detail now that I have a much crisper, clearer sense of what Act 2A looks like. So I'm gonna go eat lunch. I'm very hungry now. I appreciate you guys as always for hanging out. Let me know in the comments below how your projects are going, especially if you are in the Fun and Games or just got out of the Fun and Games. It is not Fun and Games. And if you are new to this channel, feel free to subscribe and hang around as I continue to work through my Bigfoot story, 200 words for 200 words a day. I'll see you guys next time.